December 12, 2023, regular meeting of Fairview Town Council. Let me go ahead and talk about the format for the meeting tonight. It's going to be in two parts. The first part will be the business items that were in the works while I was mayor. There'll be a 2-minute recess, and then the second part of the meeting will be the installation and oath of office for Mayor Will Fong and council members Bryson and Biggers. You'll notice there's an empty chair at the dais tonight. We lost Jerry Klontz on November 18th. Jerry's heart and soul was in the town and the community and the park. He served on the first town council until his death in November. And at this time, I'd like to have a moment of silence in memory of Jerry Klontz. Okay, Councilman Will Fong will have our invocation.
Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Most gracious Heavenly Father, once again, we thank you for the privilege and honor to be here tonight and discuss the concerns and the expectations of the town of Fairview. Look after us as things are presented and talked about and discussed, and as we go about our business here, give us the patience to deal with that and the understanding and to come to a conclusion that benefits all involved and help us go through that process. We have mentioned Jerry and what he's done for the town of Fairview, and I think that he fought a long, hard fight, and I think probably and you know more than I do, that probably what allowed Jerry to live longer than expectations, because his interest and love in the town of Fairview and the park, and I think that kept him going, and thank you for making that happen for him. Look after us tonight, and God bless us and direct us. Look after as we travel back and forth, look after our families and friends as they travel during this holiday season, and never remembering what the reason for the season is, but also continue to look after those that fight for freedom and enjoy. Bless us and look after us. I name you pray. Amen.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With respect to agenda changes, I'd like to add a number 4 under the business. Discuss and approve the $250,000 grant that we have for the state. And also number 5, Christmas bonuses for staff. And under presentations, Tricia will have a discussion and the presentation on the lighting contest. Are there any other additions or changes to the agenda? I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Second. All in favor? Motion carries. Okay, we'll move to presentations.
I would just like to say that our holiday lighting contest has gotten bigger and bigger each year, and so we had a fabulous time with that this year. Our judging took place on Sunday night, and so with that in mind, I haven't had time yet to get the yard signs. They're ordered and they're supposed to be ready tomorrow. But I wanted to announce our winners. And we had this year an honorable mention. And the couple is Tyler and Lindsay Howe, and they live in Windsor Green. Our third place winners are Kendra and Mike Cardino. They live on Bandana Lane. We had second place winners, Daniel and Alan Williams on Highway 218 East. And I'd like to have Elizabeth and Jordan Medlin to stand. And they are our first place winners this year. And all of these addresses will be posted on the website. And I think you will be pleasantly surprised at the colorful lighting and the creativity that is shown, and especially the creativity of Liz and Jordan. So, thank you.
And thank you to everyone who entered the lighting contest. Move to the consent agenda. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
All in favor? Just so you understand, the reason for the easement to the, for Piedmont Natural Gas, that is to provide access to the fire department for gas. The gas line is currently on the town's property, so we had to do an easement so that they would provide the gas service to the fire department. Okay. We'll move to items of business. Number one, discuss the mini mart at Highway 601 and Brief Road is permitted with special use permit number NR 23098.
Please turn to your page 25. This is a mini market request, convenience store request for the northeast corner of Brief and Highway 601. There for the elderly in our group was a store, and I'll look at you, I don't need to do that. This was once a store at one time, was it not?
Yes.
Way back?
Oh, yes.
So the convenience store is coming back. It's going to be run by Carlos and Anna Rivera. I don't see them here tonight. They are already in the works of remodeling that building. The owner of the property, Mr. Kim, is in the back. We'll talk to him, or if you have any questions to him, he's here. This use, the zoning is proper before, but it's with a special use permit by the council. The planning board has heard it. They recommended it to you unanimously with comments. And the comments are, you have on page 26. What I told them I would do is take their comments, I would recommend it to you, and take their comments and say, give them to the council, and then I would investigate each comment they had and put that comment up on the same page and give it to you. They are aware that you're the final decision on any comment, but I will go over those comments if you wish. One of them was the entrance to be closed on Highway 601. I noticed that right off the bat, it needed to be closed, that intersection bad enough with people trying to turn in a convenience store at that location. So that has been closed. DOT requested that, and then they gave them the driveway, or the change of use driveway permit for that business. Parking places, I misunderstood Mr. Kim when I wrote on your paper that they were going to be angled parking places. He says he don't know how I got angled parking places from him, but they're not supposed to be angled. They're supposed to be horizontal, okay, not angled. If you angle them, then it would be hard to turn around in the parking lot and come back out. So we added 4, I think, five parking places.
That's only 4.
Oh, that side is the 4, we are not created another one, is the building side.
So there's another one still to be created. Okay.
So we got 5.
2 of the required parking places are of course handicapped. One is van accessible. I did not go measure the places, but Mr. Kim did, and he says they're correct. The parking for accessibility parking must be on a solid surface. He's gonna get it as solid as he can, with no potholes or anything like that. And a 2% grade. The 2% grade in both directions probably can't be met, so, we are not gonna do that. It is recommended that parking bumpers be in place at the front door of the building. At this time, the owner has requested, he doesn't want to do that this time. They questioned the dumpster and where it was gonna be. It is right after you turn in the entrance on the right. It is screened the best way it can be. Functionality and screening don't go right there together. Hot mess, found that out, so theirs is right next to the entrance of the driveway also. There's a site drawing, if you have that, what page that's on, of the
28 plan.
28, yes. The site plan, site distances on the entrance on Reef Road were discussed. He has cut those bushes way back, so there's no problem with any site distance on the Reef. DOT needs to establish, and we have done that. We have corrected all the bushes. Plan is indicated on the site plan will be done sometime this winter. I will check that they make sure they're done properly. He's gonna add some on Reef Road there, and also through the parking lot on the other side. He's gonna leave that grassy area in front. I think that looks good, and it should be well maintained. The whole yard looks well maintained. I think that's gonna be the responsibility of the renter
Or the
or
tenant,
you.
maybe he cut to the tenant.
Okay. The tenant is gonna be responsible for maintaining the grass there in the front and in the back. It's a fairly large lot. When Carlos first came into me, he put he drew me a plan and sort of a plan of how the building would look. He added double doors in the front. There's not gonna be double doors in the front. There's gonna be one door in the front with a utility garage door to the left of the entrance. There's a garage door on the other end of the building, which is not in use, and that will be marked not in use. The site plans have been revised, obtained a driveway permit from MCOD, we had that. Did meet with the fire marshal. He did not seem to see any problem, with the fire extinguishers in the building and one entrance. He said that was perfectly right being the size of the building. He did recommend to put the number, the highway number on the building in large letters. I'm just real thrilled that business, that building and lot is gonna be used. I'm glad Mr. Kim decided to correct that. There were some questions on the sewer and some other small things that he had to correct, so I'm glad he has leased it. It just a property like that needs to be used. So we're really excited about it. Questions?
I think anytime you can take a vacant building and put it to a productive use, that's a positive for the town and for whoever's running the business.
So the city is actually Midland, but it's in the town of Fairview because of the county line.
That's great. The address is Midland.
And the damage to the building when I think somebody ran into your building, that was all
Yeah,
corrected?
It's been about 8 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody, he came from the Reef Road and then straight to the property, and then corner is he hit him. And then we're gonna rebuild it all brick so that it'll be okay. We're gonna paint it the inside and outside, so it looks good.
So that was my next question. Are you going to paint the building? So it will be painted?
I think it's that Mr. Carlos, he wanna do that because he said that's my property and then I pay to him he knows the person who do, he actually had a lot of contract worker. He knows that, and then he said is they, once I'm done the door inside the work, and then he wanna paint the inside and outside door there, so that I paid to him already. I paid fund to him, so that he wanna paint inside the outside door.
It will look better once it's painted.
Yes, sir.
But the use is permitted in our ordinance with a special use permit, and that'll be, of course, signed when I will verify all these things have been done to your satisfaction. If you want to change anything right now, now's the time to do it or add to it.
Anything that we want to change?
Looks good.
Again, I think anytime that you take a vacant building and put it to a productive use, it's got to be that's possible. If there's no further questions of Ed, at this time, I'll open the public hearing to hear any public comments. If there are no public comments, then I'll close the public hearing and move to approving the findings of facts. We need a motion on each of these 4 findings of fact.
For number 1, the proposed special use will not materially endanger public health or safety because an established lake was previously for retail use, and so we'll just continue the use that was zoned for and qualified in the past.
Number 2,
The proposed special use will not substantially injure the value of adjoining or abutting property because there is a history of retail business at this location, and this is only revisiting those circumstances with a new concept.
okay, number 3,
The proposed special use will be in harmony with the area in which it is to be located because that area is already commercially zoned and it's requires no more zoning changes of the special use permit, so it meets requirements.
number 4,
The proposed special use will be in general conformity with the land use plan, thoroughfare plan, and other plans because it's located in the highway corridor.
okay, we'll move to a decision on special use permit number NR 23-098 for a mini mart at Highway 601 Reef Road. The motion should include the zoning statement as well.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion, special use permit for the number NR 23-098 for mini mart at Highway 601 Reef Road. This proposed zoning amendment under consideration is found to be reasonable and consistent with the recommendations of the town's adopted comprehensive plan. The town of Fairview land use plan provides March 9, 2021, and the town of Fairview land use ordinance effective 1 July 2005.
There we have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? And the motion carries. Move to item number 2, discuss adding food trucks to the land use ordinance and definitions and table of uses as text amendment number TA 23-112.
We had a couple inquire about a food truck position on the lot between us and the Exxon station. Nice couple. They have operated a food truck for some time. In fact, we have used them in our festivals. After looking, we did not have a food truck definition. We had a street vendor definition, but I elected to investigate what we would call a food truck and how we would regulate it. And we decided that, and the planning board doesn't have to see these, so they did not recommend these, but it comes right to you with the public hearing. But I decided a food truck with a licensed motorized vehicle or mobile food unit that is designed and equipped to serve food and is temporarily located for the purpose of selling food items to customers. It's also includes a ice cream truck. We did that for the new mayor. Used to sell ice cream. With these conditions, that the hours would be between 6 and 11, food trucks are parked on private property and not on public property. Temporary vendors are responsible for the waste that they create each day. No grease shall be dumped on any property, streets, or stormwater drainage. Advertising is limited to the unit itself. Food vendors shall display or otherwise make available menu items and prices. Vendor operations operations shall be walk-up agreements only. Drive-throughs are not permitted. Vendor operations are as necessary, but vendor operations as a necessary use shall not impede or otherwise compromise the vehicle access, pedestrian access, or parking arrangements of a principal use on the same site. Site plan may be required and a food truck, and this is what the planning board added, the food truck will be moved daily. So it is truly a temporary type thing every day. Could be on the same lot by permission, but it has to be moved every day. Was that unanimous, the food truck having to be moved? I think, personal opinion, if it's moved maybe a couple times a week would be fine, but they want to do it every day because it is temporary.
And we're speaking just in general, down the road. Because we're not talking about this particular place right here.
No, I don't think that place will work.
I know, so that's a general statement for down the
What
road.
we did was, we didn't have a definition that needed one, and we wouldn't know how to rate them. We may never have another one, but, no request.
It looks like, in the table of uses, it's only going to be allowed with, permitted by right in B4 and highway commercial.
That's correct. With these conditions.
So it would not be allowed at all in any other zone.
Now, the question comes up, I guess, the first question I would be asking if Councilmember John Biggers wants to have a party and he wants a food truck at his party, it's a one-day thing, it's a temporary use, he can certainly do that if he arranges it. I don't think that's town's responsibility, but if it's gonna be a long-term deal or, on a lot for a period of time with the owner's permission, I think we'll have to call it.
To ask the question. This is just for information purposes only for me. Since we didn't have this before, it wasn't ever discussed, but does this have any impact on when we have an event at the park or is having a food truck?
No.
So they don't have, if we have a food truck, it doesn't have to go by the stipulations set forth in the ordinance?
Well, it's a private property only, right?
Yeah, that's private property, so, I think the town would be exempt from regulations, so as long as they got the food permit and it was all right with Spencer, it would be all right with us. It's a one-day thing anyway,
Right.
it is temporary. And our permission.
So anybody that's been operating a food truck already, have they been out of ordinance for us?
Except for the Exxon station. They had a guy there for a long time, with permission. But he left. This guy that wants to be there, he was there for some time, but he got too crowded. The parking lot got too crowded. It's already crowded.
Yeah.
So he went to the Dollar General. They didn't particularly want, that there either. So, he doesn't have a place.
It's going to be limited to a B4 or an HC
Yeah.
zone.
And HC, we don't have any.
We don't have any.
So it would have to come back to you to make sure that he could operate in that location.
Any other questions for, from Mr. Humphries? At this time, I'll open the public hearing. Are there any public comments on the food trucks? Then I'll close the public hearing and we'll go to a decision on text amendment TA 23-112.
I'd like to make a motion that text amendment, number TA 23-112, request to add food trucks to land use ordinance and definitions and table uses as permitted use by right, and B4 and AC with supplemental regulations applicable. And this motion, I think it's found to be reasonable and consistent with the recommendations of the town's adopted comprehensive plan, the town of Fairview land use plan, revised March 9, 2021, and the plan, and the town of Fairview land use ordinance effective 1 July 2005.
Can we have a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? And the motion carries. Okay, we'll move to item number 3, discuss adding animal boarding horses to the table of uses.
Page 41 and 42. Several months ago, a young man came in and he wanted to start a horse boarding business on a piece of property. We did not have that particular use. Since then, we have got a lot of horse boarding already done in Fairview on a small scale. So we decided to put a definition, horse boarding definition in the ordinance, and we're going to resolve. So this is the article, basic definitions and interpretations. Horse boarding is a service offered by established horse farms. For a monthly fee, the boarding facility will maintain the daily care of a client's horse. These services may include feeding, turnout, stall cleaning, grooming, training, and even medical care. There is a minimum of 10 acres. There is a minimum of 10 acres with a limit of horses to 1 horse per pasture acre. That's hard to say. In other words, if you've got 5 horses, you need 5 pasture acres. Over 10 horses, if you come in, I've got over 10 horses, then it requires a special use permit. That means site plan, review by me, review by the planning board, and then a special use permit for you. That's a pretty big operation if you have over 10 horses. So animal boarding horses as permitted by right in RA 40 and RA 80 with certain conditions, especially the over 10 horses will require a special use permit.
At that time, if they needed a special use permit, then conditions could be put on it.
The planning board would review it first and have.
If that would happen, whatever the special considerations for that, could that be effective on previous ones that come under this ordinance change? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but no.
No, so that's, okay.
Every permit is a sole permit.
Separate, okay.
Any questions of Ed? At this time, I'll open the public hearing to hear any comments on animal boarding horses. Are there any public comments? Not, I'll close the public hearing and move to a decision on text amendment number TA 23-110.
I move that text amendment number TA 23-110, request to add animal boarding horses to our table of uses as a permitted use by right in RA 40 and RA 80. See sections 175, 168, and 180A. The proposed zoning amendment under consideration is found to be reasonable and consistent with the recommendations of the town's adopted comprehensive plan, the town of Fairview land use plan revised on March 9th of 2021, and the town of Fairview land use ordinance effective July 1st, 2005.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? And the motion carries.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, may I interrupt just a minute? Anna and Carlos are here. They're gonna be operating your new mini mart, which it was approved. So I have visited your place. It's looking good inside, real good. They're happy to be here, and I just wanted to make sure you could recognize them.
We're happy to have you in Fairview.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Okay, item number 4, discuss approve $250,000 grant from the state. We just became aware of this grant recently. Darrell has more information than we do right now, but what we need to do tonight is to approve any signatures of any of the paperwork that we have to go through to get this grant. It will involve my signature, Gary's signature, possibly Darrell's signature, and possibly Teresa's as well as the clerk. But anyway, Darrell, what can you tell us about the $250,000 grant?
Well, as some of you may have heard, the state had a surplus again this year. And we have a couple of pretty strong advocates in Raleigh, Dean Harp and Todd Johnson, and who was a former rep that
Mark Brody.
Mark Brody, yeah.
And also, the guy in Cabarrus County was our state senator at one time.
But anyway, they,
Hudson, Richard Hudson.
It'll come to me by then.
anyway, they kind of look out for us. And so they granted us $250,000, no stipulations on how it's to be used, so we can use it for the park or sewer system or whatever needs that we have. So we have to provide them with a scope of work, which they'll review, and then we do whatever improvements or whatever work we're going to do based upon that scope of work. And we typically, seems like the previous one, we've had 2 or maybe 3 years to complete the work, so I'm sure this one will probably be about the same. But so it's a real blessing, because we were talking a couple meetings back about applying for grants, and this one just kind of fell in our lap, so it's good.
And I had communicated with Dean Arp and Todd Johnson back before the budget process started, and reminded them that we were very thankful for what they had done for us in the past, and anything they could do for us in this budget would be greatly appreciated. So when you run into Dean Arp and Todd Johnson, let them know how much we do appreciate this $250,000. We've been blessed by having representatives like Dean Arp and Todd Johnson in the Senate and in the House, 2 Christian businessmen who have done a great job for us in Raleigh. So whenever you have a chance to communicate with them, thank them for what they do. They've really helped us. They gave us, in the past budget, they gave us $250,000 to be used on the park. They gave us $50,000 to upgrade this building. So we've been blessed by having those 2 guys on our side. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to have the mayor and the mayor pro tem and finance officer and the clerk to sign and expedite any of the paperwork that we need to do to get that grant.
So moved.
Should the motion also include accepting the grant? Or have you done that already?
Yeah, we probably should
Accept it.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that the mayor pro tem, and the treasurer sign and approve for accepting of the $250,000 grant.
And sign the paperwork.
And sign the paperwork.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? The motion carries. Item number 5, Christmas bonuses. We have traditionally given our employees a Christmas bonus. I think that's something that we should do again. We gave them $150 each last year, and I think it would be the right thing to do to give them a bonus again this year. Open the floor for any discussion.
I agree that they need to be acknowledged, excuse me, and thanked for all their hard work.
Amen.
And I would like to also suggest that based upon, things that taking place in the economy, things that we raise that amount to $200. Is that possible to do?
Whatever you want.
I would agree with that.
Okay, $200 net,
Yes. That would be my opinion.
okay.
So gross it up for
Gross it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would cover Teresa, Ed, me, and Spencer. Anybody else?
And
Uh,
Tanya,
Tanya? Okay.
is it Tanya?
Tanya, Tanya, I'm not sure.
Okay, we'll put that in one motion.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that, that we, do what we previously done for the holidays, is give a bonus for the hard work that the staff does for the town of Fairview, and along with that, they'll raise the amount to, $200 net. As mentioned in the-
Okay, we have a motion for a second.
I second.
All in favor? Motion carries.
I speak for all employees. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks to every one of you for all that you do. Okay, we'll move to the next item, recognition of outgoing mayor. I don't know what that's going to involve. Should we open the windows and reply
Go forward. So this is bittersweet. I've known Phil for probably 30 years, 35 years at least. And what makes it a little more significant is that time I've known him, over 18 years of that 30-year period, has been working for in the planning board and also the mayor of Fairview. So he'll be missed, but I know that he'll be available if we have any questions. And when he helped us make a decision, because the decision was right, and I think it's a great honor to work with you, and thank you for what you've done. This is from the town of Fairview, North Carolina. Philip C. Thomas, the citizens of the town of Fairview, North Carolina express you their sincere appreciation for your hard work, dedication, and leadership in executing your duties and responsibilities as mayor from 2015 to 2023, and as planning board chairman from 2005 to 2014. This date, town of Fairview, December 12th, 2023. Congratulations. Would you all like to make a comment, or anybody on the staff like to make a comment?
Yeah.
Yes, I got some.
You want to go first?
Well, no, you go first.
No, I don't know.
Let's pick her first.
I'm not so sure the people of the town realize how hard Phil works for the town of Fairview. I think as far as the representative and mayor, Phil has done more for this town than any of our previous mayors. He is constantly involved in thinking about what to do for the town, and all this work that we've gotten done over the last period of time when he's been mayor, it would not have been without his hard work and all the time and effort he put into it. So it's been a pleasure working with him, and I've learned a ton from Phil, and I thank you for everything.
Thank you.
I agree with every word John has said. And the thing that I have appreciated most about Phil is his leadership style. It's just been phenomenal the way he has led us as a council. He's kept us informed and enabled us to work very well together in all the ways that we've progressed.
Thank you.
From staff, I think we would all concur with all the comments already made. I have had the pleasure of working with Phil with the planning board for the last 14 years, and as mayor for the last 8, so I've got a little more time. The thing that I also will remember about Phil is his leadership style, but there's one thing that I will never forget, I don't think, is the way he listens.
He's a terrific listener, you know, and he's an advisor. But some of us just have to get it off their chest sometimes, and he was always there for me if I needed to get it off my chest, and I appreciate that. I did learn not to roll my eyes when he was, you know, us staff have a tendency when they say something, we say, oh, you know, roll my eyes. Well, he caught me one night rolling them, and I won't forget that. He was very, he said, quote, don't roll your eyes at me like that again. And of course, I was embarrassed and apologized, and I haven't done it since, that he sees me.
And I apologize to Ed that I did it because I said that I'll bring respect to council meetings, and I was not respectful.
But truthful, but very, very truthful. But we as a staff have always enjoyed his kindness, especially during the summer. He brings us a lot of gifts in the summer from his garden, so we've enjoyed that. But just being there, being a good listener, and being an advocate for the staff, we appreciate and thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to comment in advance based on that last statement that I don't garden, so don't anticipate. But it just occurred me standing up here that with all this free time that you'll have after tonight, we've got something planned for them. These are our 4 grandkids. So
Bring them on.
Bring them on.
Bring them on.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
So now I get to make my comments. We'll move to council comments. I want to go ahead and go first tonight. Normally I let council go first. I'm going to go first tonight. One thing, for those of you who haven't heard, the town hall is going to be an early voting site. Effective with primary early voting will begin in February. So if you've been going to the library in Monroe, you don't have to go there anymore. You'll be able to come here to do your early voting. I spent 10 years chairing the planning board. I got a call from Jerry roughly almost 20 years ago when the town first incorporated, asked me if I would be on the planning board. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, I've got construction experience. I'm a registered engineer. Probably would be good to have somebody who's an engineer on the planning board. So I told him yes. Went to the first planning board meeting and never realized that I was going to get elected chairman at that first meeting. I was going to get elected chairman for the next 10 years. But it was a good experience. And when I decided to run in 2015, I spent a lot of thought, prayer in it, and talked with a lot of the people in the community that I knew had leadership skills. I couldn't talk anybody else into running. So I said, well, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to step up and run. So I threw my hat in the ring. I set 6 goals when I first ran in 2015. I had no intention of running for more than one term, but at the end of that term, I had so many people coming to me and saying, you are going to run again. And I said, okay, once more. But after 10 years on the planning board and 8 years as mayor, I felt like it was time. But I did set 6 goals. The first goal was to bring prayer and leadership and respect to council meetings. One of the first things that we did when I first became mayor was to come up with an invocation policy. I heard Jerry Klotz ask on at least 2 occasions, why don't we pray before we have a meeting? I never heard a satisfactory answer. So we met with our attorney, investigated Supreme Court rulings on prayer in public meetings, and tried to set up an invocation policy that would comply with the Supreme Court rulings. And ever since then, we pray. Of course, I pray anyway. I'm going to be praying. I pray for all the council. I pray for all the decisions that are made. I'm going to do that anyway. But I think it's important to pray for guidance when we meet. For leadership, I've been in leadership positions most of my life. From high school, co-captain of the football team, president of the student council. I ran a 3-level sales organization while I was in college. Had leadership positions for 30+ years in the corporate world. Thought surely I can lead the town of Fairview. But I've tried to bring leadership, and I've tried to lead the way that I would want to be led if I were in another position. Respect. I've tried to be respectful. I saw people thrown under the bus. I saw our staff and other council members thrown under the bus in a public meeting. There's no need for that. Fairview's better than that. This is not Indian Trail or New York City. The one time that I didn't do that, when Ed rolled his eyes at me. And I called him out and I apologized to him later because I shouldn't have done it. And he apologized to me for rolling his eyes. The second goal that I had was to support completion of the town park. And we did that. Phase 1 was completed several years ago. And we've also got phase 2 designed. We purchased 65 acres for future expansion of the park. You know, in my lifetime, we'll probably never see anything other than a trail done with that 65 acres. But our children, our grandchildren will see that come to fruition over those years. And it has been a focal point for the community. You know, if you were at the festival Saturday night, you saw how many people were enjoying the park. You saw how people reacted, so happy to be a part of that festival in that park. You come up here on a kids fishing day and watch the kids fishing, watch them tie into a big catfish or a bass, and you can see how important that is to the town. The third goal I had was to support the fire department, to maintain a low insurance rate for the town. We, up until we got rid of the fire fee, we provided money to the fire department to help support them. Once we got a fire tax, that fire tax takes care of the fire department budget. There was no need for us to continue to do that. We did buy them a fire truck for roughly $450,000. And also over the last year or so, we've had the town ISO grade, the Insurance Service Office town grade, lowered from a 5 to a 4. The lower it is, the less your insurance costs. So you may have noticed a drop in your insurance. We went from a town grade 5 to a town grade 4. That's because of our fire department. Fourth goal I had was to maintain a low tax rate. And we've done that. We've maintained the same tax rate that we've had for many years of 2 cents. Fifth goal was to work with the planning board to manage growth. You know, there are some people who think that we can just totally stop growth. We can't stop growth. You know, if your son or daughter wants an acre of land to build a house on, you don't want them not to be able to do that. The property owners have rights. We've gone to conditional zoning. That was an important thing for us to do, where we can meet if someone wants to rezone their property. They can ask for a workshop with town council. We can talk about it up front. We can have public meetings to get public input on it, where in the past zoning that we had, we weren't able to do that. The largest subdivision that this council has approved has been 14 houses. And if you ride out West Duncan Road and look at the houses that were built on those 14 lots, they are beautiful, beautiful homes and a great addition to Fairview. We've also approved, I think, about 3 other subdivisions of 6 to 8 houses. So we've been able to manage the growth. The sixth one was to work with Union County on the arsenic issue in our well water. Every time I get in front of commissioners, I bring that issue up. For 2 years in a row, the commissioners asked the towns to come to them and county staff and talk about issues of growth and that kind of thing. And when I had the chance to present to the commissioners and county staff, I reminded them that some researchers say there's a link between Alzheimer's and arsenic in well water. And Union County has a much higher rate of Alzheimer's than other counties in the state. So that was something that I wanted to keep in front of the county commissioners. And also remember, about 2 years ago, we partnered with the county on the community development block grant program. Part of that money can be used to include well rehab, putting filters on people's wells who have arsenic in their well water. There are some income requirements involved with that as well, though. We instituted planning workshops a couple of years ago. In February, we meet for half a day to talk about short and long range planning. I think that's been a very positive thing for the town. Behind the scenes, Glenda would tell you that this is probably less than a minimum wage job because of the time that we put in. But just to give you an idea of what all happens, what transpires, we started trying to get this property back in 2014. The council at that time made a recommendation to send Jerry Twatts and me, I was chair of the planning board at that time, to the school board. Jerry signed a letter. I took it to the school board. He said, we want this property. 2014. Nothing happened immediately. Several years later, I went to the school board facilities committee meeting and said, we want this property. And they said, well, we don't need it. We'll have to declare it surplus. So the school board declared it surplus. Then it had to go to the county commissioners. The county commissioners had to exercise their right of first refusal. So this drug on for quite a while, and every time I talked to a county commissioner, I said, what's up with this? Let's move on this. He said, be patient, we've got something in the works. What was in the works was that the county wanted this property to sell to us. The school board wanted some property that the county had next to Forest Hill so they could put a school there on that property. So finally that happened. And again, every time I got in front of the county commissioners, I showed them a picture of the school property here, and I said, my recommendation to you is to tear down the old school, make that shovel ready for the fire department, and donate the property to us. Well, that didn't happen. But if you don't ask, you don't get. So I figured, what the heck, I can ask. But they did cut us a deal on this property and for the fire department as well. We got 3.3 acres here for the town hall, an 8,100 plus square foot building for $125,000. That's a pretty good deal in anybody's market today. The fire department got roughly a little over 6 acres for $250,000. In fact, the county manager came to me later and he said, I wish we could get a deal like we gave you. I said, well, thank you. This town would not be what it is without volunteers. And, Lisa and Spencer Thomas, they don't want any recognition, but they do a fantastic job for us on the events. Mike Medlin on the Park Facilities Committee, they do so much work behind the scenes to make these events and make the park what it is today. Thank you to all the volunteers for all that you do. And that's all that I have, so I'll move to any other council comments. Patricia, do you have anything else?
I was just awed and amazed once again with our winter festival. So I wanted to bring that up because it has grown each year, and even with the messy weather, we still had a great event.
We did.
Well, just briefly, everything that Phil said, I would agree with, and I guess I've lived by this statement is, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. So from this point on, he has set the basis and foundation for the direction that I feel that we were heading towards, and my three of us are up for in this campaign, we're unopposed. I feel like that the town must agree with us in the way that was presented. So that is my number one goal, is to continue what we've been doing, and along with the support of the citizens and residents of Fairview. I would ask, though, that something I would encourage, is what he was talking about. It's a pleasure to see many people are here tonight. I would encourage people to continue to come and find out what's going on in Fairview, because there's a prime example is with this money that we just never realized it was coming towards us. That's because of the relationship we have with our elected officials at the state level. So that would never would have happened if we hadn't established that relationship, and if the residents of Fairview try to establish a relationship and let them know that they appreciate what they've done for us and what it's led to, and continue to keep that contact and that relationship going.
Just two things. One, it is kind of a bittersweet night. First, I do miss my friend and our friend Jerry. He would have been very proud of you tonight. And he would have said, talked about all the things that you accomplished and led you guys. I really missed him Saturday night at the park. But a lot of what took place at that park would not have been possible without Jerry's leadership for the park. And then secondly, once again, thank you for all your leadership over the last 8 years. And we would not be the town we are without your leadership.
Bruce, did you have anything? Carol?
No, just thank you for all you do. You always forward me emails, make sure I'm aware of things. So appreciate you kind of looking after me. But yeah, appreciate all you do and did.
Well, my email's dead now. So as of today, it was discontinued.
We don't waste any time, cut him off.
Spencer?
But you go.
I'll go first. Yeah, what I was gonna say, man. Other than I promise not to roll my eyes at Gary. I think he'll do a fabulous job. We will miss Phil, but we look forward to Gary. And Carrie, I'm sorry. Carrie, we look forward to her too. In just a minute.
We've decided to do a fishing day. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. In honor of Jerry. Phil, because of you, we have allowed our festivals to be God-centered. And oh gosh, I'm sorry. And I think that's truly why they are still successful, because of you.
Okay, at this time, we'll have a 2-minute recess, and then we'll have the installation of the office for the newly elected officials. And I will leave the dice.
3 cents. 3 cents.